If you have an online course and you're struggling to reach your revenue goals, we're going to talk about 5 of the most common mistakes why people aren't lining up to buy your course.
All right, real quick, I'm Mike, that's Maddie, and over the past 4 years, we've built and scaled multiple six-figure courses, and along the way, we've made all 5 of these mistakes.
Maybe multiple times.
And I know how disheartening it could be. Like you pour your heart and soul into it, you're ready to teach, but no one wants to learn. So today we're going to talk about how to fix that.
So this very first mistake we made building actually our very first online course called Method to Mastery. Oh. And this was a course that we created back when we were
old.
Yeah, we were like less than 2K subs on YouTube. We probably spent, I don't know, 50, 100 hours maybe.
We worked hard on that course.
We worked really hard. We
remember.
got together. We were brainstorming these frameworks.
We literally got the domain name for the course.
Yeah.
Like most unimportant thing ever.
Yeah, we spent hours figuring out the PowerPoint color font. We made a really long curriculum. It was 2.5 hours long or something. Mm-hmm. We put it for sale. And for all of our efforts, grand total, we made 1 sale.
So that was like months of work for 1 sale.
I did talk to him about what he thought about the program. And he said most of it was unnecessary. So the mistake that we made, which I know so many other course creators make, we built a course that no one wanted.
We did not validate the idea. We didn't ask anyone if anyone would want to buy it or want to even learn this topic.
So when you talk to people, you figure out what exactly do they want, and you build exactly those things. What you think are people's problems might not actually be their problems. I have friends who come to me all the time and they're like, I have this great idea for a course. And then the first thing we always ask is like, great, have you asked anybody if they want that?
Would people buy that?
Yeah. Would people buy that? Like, is anyone even interested in that? If you have expertise, that's great, but it doesn't really mean anything if no one else actually wants the solution that you're offering.
If you have an audience, then you should definitely ask your audience. Mm-hmm. Like just send out a poll asking like, would you be interested in this course? That's like the easiest and probably like the fastest way to validate your idea. But if you're just starting out and you don't have any followers, that's perfectly fine. You would just have to go and validate the idea by looking what other people have done. So definitely don't reinvent the wheel. Look at what people are selling and then use that as proof that other people will buy that. Go on big forum websites like Quora, or even just go into comments. Look at viral YouTube videos or trends and just look at what people are asking.
You have to generate demand before you even try to sell anything.
It is like the very, very first thing. You do not want to start anything until you've done this. So big mistake number 2. This really came from one of our more recent courses called Study Quest. We're going to help all the students who are not getting good grades, who are potentially failing, who didn't have good study habits, help them get better grades, right? That's what I thought. And we were very shocked at what happened. All the students that were coming in, 80% of the students were already at least top 10% or even higher. Many of them were like top 5, top 1% in their class. We had a big realization there. These students, they didn't care about getting better grades. They already got the grades, but they were extremely stressed and they were wasting a lot of time. I think those are the 2 biggest pain points.
Yeah, or they're procrastinating.
Yeah. And so wasting more time.
And feeling bad about themselves.
Yeah, and it's just like a terrible loop. So what we did was we listened and changed our positioning a little bit to saving time, learning efficiency, how to cut your study time in half, how to learn faster. And then when we did that, all of a sudden our sales did much better. If you kind of like trace it back to like the root, it's called psychographics, like what your audience is thinking, like what kind of person goes onto YouTube and watches videos about how to study.
It's not the kids who are failing.
Exactly.
If anyone is getting like the C range of grades and stuff, they're probably just coasting by.
Yeah.
What you're saying is very important here is to do a very deep customer psychographic analysis. Like you want to get into their head and understand what do they think about? What do they do on a regular basis? Where do they hang out online? What kind of things do they fall asleep worrying about? What kind of things do they wake up in the middle of the night worrying about? And what do they feel? What are the emotions they feel because of these pain points? Craft your course around those pain points.
Your language.
Yeah.
If you can fill out this sentence for yourself, I help blank achieve blank without blank. I help students learn faster without wasting time or something like that. You can just plug and play your own language into that. What are the desires and what is the pain that they're really trying to avoid?
Sometimes you can get a whole bunch of people to like a landing page and they read the copy and they don't really feel like it's for them. they're not going to buy or even consider joining the waitlist or sign up for your email and stuff. And so not only does this positioning thing help you with direct conversions on your sales, but any marketing you do, any content you make, any ads, all of that requires good positioning. So moving on to the third mistake. We've probably repeated for every single course that we've done. Usually like after we have a cohort of students or something, we'll spend a lot of time refining the products, looking at all the feedback, trying to make improvements to the course, all of these like back-end efficiency optimization things so that when we have all these students coming in, we're going to be really equipped. We even have these thoughts of like, oh, on the next launch, we should cap it at 100 students because we can't handle more students because we're afraid that we can't handle enough students. When we don't have any students even lining up at the door, right? And the reason we don't have any students lining up at the door is because that whole time we didn't mention or talk about StudyQuest at all in our marketing. We didn't make any content about it. We didn't send any emails out about it. So no one even knew that our product existed. And so the biggest mistake is that people probably just don't know about your product or you don't talk about your product enough. I remember I watched some Hermosi video not too long ago. And he basically says like, if you don't have your programs full to the door and the waitlist completely full, you're not doing enough lead generation. You're not marketing enough. And that was just like a slap in the face. It's like, yeah, why are we even thinking about product development? Why are we even thinking about all this stuff? We don't have any customers. That's the most important part of the business.
Think about big blockbuster movies. There's like trailers. And there's like a teaser trailer, and then there's an official trailer. Trailer number 2. Months and years ahead. It's like, not talking about your course, no one's going to know that this movie is coming out if there's no trailer and you just drop it in the movie theater. No one's going to know. So you got to promote. What is the underlying reason why we don't talk about it enough? It's like, for me, it's like, I just don't want to bother people.
Right.
You know, it's like getting flooded with all these emails. Like I find it so annoying. Like every day I'm unsubscribing from emails. So like I'm kind of like, you know, almost transposing that frustration onto my customers. Like, oh, I'm probably bombarding them with my emails. Like, why should I be sending 10 emails to this person in the span of a week? You start to realize that if you send 10 emails, realistically, they'll probably see and open 1 or 2 because people's emails are just flooded nowadays.
And so just to get into some very, very easy tactical strategies that you can start doing right now, if you make content, at the end of a lot of content, you can put a call to action, a CTA. If this is for anything like Instagram, any writing-based content that you make, it's really easy at the end of it. Just slide in at the end. Oh, by the way, if you're interested in what I talked about, sign up for my newsletter or get this lead magnet because I do this.
In addition to that, is that you can also plug in the very beginning of the content. It's like, this video, I'm going to teach you this skill, which comes from my course, blah, blah, blah. And then you just go right into the skill.
Sure. Yeah, I think for video, it's a really easy way to do that. I would probably steer away from doing that in short form videos just because they're so quick. You only have like, what is it, like 1.7 seconds to capture someone's attention on short form. So for short form content, just leave it in the description or something. Another way is to just have links in your bios for your social media. And also tell people in your bios, in your profiles, what you actually do. Our bio is like, oh, YouTuber, doctor, love learning or something like that. Nowhere in there does it say anything about, hey, we help you do this or we solve this problem for you with a link to our program or like our website. If you have customers already, ask them to tell people about your product, right? Do you know anyone who would benefit from this product?
And instead of saying like, do you know anyone that would benefit from this product, from which they would just say yes or no, you would just straight out say, who is the person you know that would benefit from this product? They'd have to start thinking of names.
Give me the emails.
Give me the exact
someone who is going to do this.
Type it out. So big mistake number 4. This is a lesson we learned from selling our extended brain course. At the time, I guess you were really into Notion. You got really deep. You became certified and everything. Like officially, you took like an exam or something. So for whoever's listening, it's like, let's say you have like a special license or certification. You're just geeking out about all this knowledge that you have. That's kind of how we approached Extended Brain, unfortunately. So we led with like, hey, you're going to learn all these cool like tables and databases, 50 new features, and it just didn't hit. We soon realized that people do not want to learn. People do not want features. What they want is quick transformation.
People want a quick, simple solution, even if what it takes to deliver it and all the stuff on the back end is really, really messy and complicated. If you put like a Notion noob, you put them in the driver's seat there and they see this console with like 100 buttons, all these knobs and stuff. they're going to feel incredibly overwhelmed. They're probably not going to want to drive it. And so think about like some of the apps that you like to use. They're probably the most simple ones possible. That's why I think Apple does such a good job of making their products go viral, is because an iPhone is just so simple. The reason we even discovered this was a problem was because our churn rate and our refund rate were really high. And the common message we kept getting was, it's too complicated. It's it's not what I wanted. There's too much information, all the worst things that you could hear as someone who builds products. So basically what I did with Extended Brain, this massive Notion template, is I stripped away like 90% of the features. It just did like 2 things, and it did them really well. And not only that, I made the onboarding experience of getting into that product as simple as possible. I took like 30 minutes of onboarding videos, condensed it to 5. Imagine if your goal is to help your students speedrun Zelda as fast as possible.
And by getting there as fast as possible, literally in a speed run, you're seeing these speedrunners like glitch and hack through the wall. Like that's literally what you want to do though.
Just hack through the game.
Just glitch through the game. That is point number 4. It's like your customer is at point A, they want to get to point B, right? They want to make that transformation and they want that problem solved. So figure out what is the problem they're trying to solve and then eliminate every single feature of your product that does not lead to that problem being solved. All right, so mistake number 5, we were selling several Skillshare courses. If you're not familiar, Skillshare is a platform where you can sell courses. And I think we have maybe 5 or 6, but we started off with a course name such as How to Be More Productive.
I think it's a course that a lot of people want to do.
A lot of people probably want to do that, but the problem with that is that it's so vague. Like, I want to be more productive, but like, what does that mean for me? Like, what do I get out of this?
If you try to appeal too broadly, then you appeal to nobody. Get very niche and very specific with the types of problems and the type of people that you can solve it for. All the courses that we had after that were hyper specific. And because of that, they all became top classes from Skillshare. We had 7 days to better grades. Very clear time frame and transformation. The other one did after that, how to record better audio as a creator. Very straightforward, very simple transformation.
As a creator.
Yeah.
So not as a, anything else.
So I think a good way to like refine whether you're hitting the right specificity is to go back to that sentence you said, I help X person or avatar do this without this. Just add on there in this amount of time. The more clear you can make it, the better it's going to be. And if you're afraid that you can't deliver on those things, then you also have, by doing this, set some good goals for your business. If you can't do it in 7 days, that's your goal. How can you get it to 7 days, right? If you can't do it in 2 hours, how can you do it in 2 hours? Make the boldest claim you possibly can, and then just try to fulfill that goal as your next step.
If you can cut down on the time, people will always want less time. Like if you can do how to do XYZ in 30 days, that's great. It's better than 60 days.
Can you do it shorter?
Can you do it shorter? Yeah, like I would like it to do it in 20 days, 10 days. People pay for speed.
Yeah.
The other thing that people pay for is to not do work. So like if you're saying like, oh, in this course, you're going to get 300 hours of content, people are going to be like running in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
If you can condense 300 hours to like, 1 hour, learn this in 1 hour. Right. People will pay for that.
These are the 5 most important mistakes that you need to address. So if you need some inspiration, definitely click on some of the links below. Check out our content, sign up for our emails if you want to, just see how we're writing things, how we're positioning things, how we're mentioning CTAs, how we're doing them, and how we're actively trying to improve all of these 5 areas. And I guarantee you, if you fix all of these, you will make more money.